What's good, gang? It's your boy two-time Moto TV, and we back with another one, man. Yo, got the Vic back. I'll let y'all know how things is looking as we get done and complete with this video. A full tutorial, which the car is actually dirty, man. I can't give you guys a shot with it outside and then the hood back on. Y'all see I got the hood upside down because I kind of messed up something yesterday, so I got that figured out. You know, I broke one of these bolts off in there when I was trying to put the hood back on the car. And yeah, man, never mind that. Anyway, I got that bolt extracted. But today we have something else that we're gonna be adding, a little finished touch to the Crown Vic. But we aren't done yet. Y'all know we aren't never done with this car, man. I'm gonna come up with some of the craziest stuff to actually do to this car that's not gonna be too cheesy. So I don't know if you guys think some of the mods that I done to the vehicle is cheesy or not, but man, look, I'm gonna do things to my taste, and I hope you guys just enjoy it as long as I do as well. So, in the box, some of you guys know what this is, and some of you guys don't, man. So we're gonna go ahead and start cracking this joker open, man. We're gonna go ahead and start with the little plastics on the outside and then try to lift the box up so I ain't gotta set the camera down, have you guys waiting, watching me open up a daggone box. So yeah, man, check out what's in the box, guys. So I'm assuming that you guys already know what this is since I am at the spot of the vehicle that it is going at. Yes, you guys guessed it. It is a push bar for a police vehicle, which this is a ex-police vehicle. It's a 2004 Crown Victoria. This push bumper goes for a 2003 to 2011 Crown Victoria with all of the mountain hardware. This is the packaging that it came in, wrapped up very nicely. As far as I can tell, there's no chips or anything or any kind of defects that I can see. Everything is looking pretty good. I done already tried to tear into this, but I said, you know, why not just bring you guys a little bit of content about how the packaging is so you guys will know what to expect and how you're taking it out the box and what you're looking at. So you got your mountain hardware and you got your bracket. So I'm gonna go ahead and strip all of that stuff away and then try to lay out and explain what everything is and where it's supposed to go. Pretty satisfied for how the part is manufactured and how everything came out. I'm guessing that these little streaks on here just came from the plastic. A little cleaning ain't gonna hurt. Now, you guys know I gotta give y'all the pros and the cons of a product. And yes, it did come a little bit chipped right here. That I did not do. But, you know, I'm not too worried about that little black touch-up paint. Ain't gonna hurt nothing. And the only other thing that I do not like is this is a sticker. I thought that would have been like engraved with like some silver metallic kind of stuff, man, but nah, this is a sticker. So when I was taking the plastic off, it was trying to peel up, so I realized that that Go Rhino, which brings the whole push bar out, to be honest, it's just a sticker. Go Rhino, please engrave that with that silver metallic or whatever that you guys got to do with the bar, man, because folks, you know, I mean, they ain't, you know, the stick ain't gonna stay on there so that folks know what the product is. And unless you got some super like adhesive sticker with like some paint over it so that it'll stay like a clear coat. But yeah, man, that's the only two things that I don't like, is that yes, it came scraped off a little bit. So yeah, man, make sure that when y'all opening up y'all stuff, y'all make sure y'all check y'all products. So per the instructions, they want me to find the center of the bumper, come over 13 3/4 of an inch and notch a vertical line, and then go over 16 3/4 of an inch and notch another vertical line. So one thing about these bumpers, y'all, they do have like specific like identities. So what I mean by that is mine has like a little center hole punch right here that you can tell that came with the bumper, and it was right behind the license plate holder, and that's where I'm gonna pull my tape from. I'm gonna pull my tape from that little center hole and go over 13 3/4 of an inch, and then go over 16 3/4 of an inch and notch it there, and then do the same for the passenger side. Then they want you to remove the bumper. So we're gonna go ahead and do that before we actually take the bumper off the car, because that's what it calls for. Hopefully these instructions aren't jiving me around and then I make some cuts up in my bumper and have to go get a brand new bumper. So I'll let you guys know, man. But that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna follow all the instructions because they're supposed to make it simple for dummies like myself. And we're gonna get started. This is what we're looking like at the front of the Crown Victoria. We done cut out both sides, 13 3/4 and 16 3/4. And the same for the passenger side. We got two pretty decent cuts. And the next thing they want us to do is remove the front bumper. So we're gonna start on that. Like I said, you're gonna definitely have to remove the headlights. My headlight is a little bit different because I do have got that snorkel on there, but it shouldn't be an issue. I should be able to just remove the clamps, extend that snorkel just a little bit, and be able to remove both of my headlights, which I may not have to remove them fully, just enough so you'll be able to get to that bolt that's in the back. It should be on the side of the headlights, but I'll definitely let you guys know further what needs to be taken off. So y'all stay tuned for that. Now with the ugliness revealing itself, with the headlights looking stupid, and the bumper off with the padding for the bumper, what they asked to do is that you would notice some little rivets here. So you can pretty much see one there and a rivet there. That's what a bracket is gonna lie itself in. And also for this side, you'll see a rivet here. And you can see one, a little slight one right there. It's almost like they got a little lazy with this side though. But anyway, that's where you'll know where your bracket is supposed to place itself. So they want you to cut the foam in front of that little rivet there on both sides. So it looked like that this foam is displaced and overlapping itself. So I don't know whether I want to try slicing through a whole thing or if I just want to just take like this big section off right here and then this big section off right here. I'm not sure what I want to do yet, but I'm gonna analyze it for a second or two and then I'm just gonna get the cutting. So it was pretty easy to take off, but one piece popped off along with another. So what I meant by that is that these two was two separate different pieces, but this one, the little smaller one that go on the edge here, was held on by this piece that I needed to cut off. So this one fell off with it. I made 3M tape it and put it back when I put the bumper back, or I may just leave it off. But I mean, it has a pretty firm center still, and then it has these pieces on the edge there. So it shouldn't really be an issue, but the 4 bolts that I believe that may be needed, I do know that these 2 bolts are needed. Then the rivets are still there that held on these little pieces here. So we're gonna see what the bracket entails and what the next piece of instruction entails, whether I will put the little end pieces back on or not. So it's not really a big deal. It's not like that it's gonna save you in some kind of crash or anything. If you get into a crash, these little things aren't really gonna do too much of nothing. They're just there to hold your bumper out and to keep it with this same shape around the car. But oh yeah, my son just pointed that out. He just want to say hey, I guess. Little stink bug. But anyway, yeah, so we're gonna look at the instructions and see if the 4 bolts are needed, and if not, I'll go from there to see whether I want to put this little side piece back on or not. So yeah, man, y'all stay tuned for that. All right, so guys, after doing a little bit of like analyzation and looking at this thing a little bit, yes, you do have to remove the 4 bolts. You may can just loosen the outer 2 up, but you definitely need to remove the inner 2 because there are these little clips that are behind the bolts that look like these, that the bolts go into, and you need to remove the 2 inner 2, but you can keep the 2 outer 2 there. So what you're gonna want to do, you're gonna want to just pull your bumper back up, put it back into place, put your bolts back on the outer 2, and you're gonna want to run the new hardware for the Go Rhino bracket, which is this. So I'll show you guys that in a second, but yeah, so start with one side. Don't take both sides off. I just loosen that side up so this side right here can have a little bit of movement. But you're gonna want to remove the 4 bolts. Maybe just loosen these up enough so that you can wiggle the bumper out, and you're gonna want to go behind there and remove these 2 clips so you can use the new hardware. Alright guys, so now it's time to mount the bracket. Now you're gonna want this inside flap to be in the inside. Now the other one has it on the outside, so if you put it on different ends, you see how that'll be on the outside. No, you're gonna want it on the inside. So when you're putting this bracket on here, you're gonna want to have it looking like that, with that lip bracket right there on the outside. So what I've already done, I've already situated my bolts. So you see I have 4 here, so we're gonna need 2 per side. What you're gonna want to do is just go ahead and put the little washer on the little bolt. Now you guys can see how big these bolts are, so they take the bigger washers. Now that goes for something totally different that I will get to in a minute. So as you guys can see, there's a bigger bolt there along with a bigger washer. So yeah, I got my lock washer, and then I have my nut that'll go on the back side of the bracket. So this little thing here, this little bolt is gonna go in the inside of here. Now you cannot mess this up any way possible, so you would know what bolt goes with what. This little bolt can only fit in this hole here. Therefore you'll know that you're doing or putting the bolt in the right spot. So it's gonna take a bolt up here, and it's gonna take a bolt down low. And as you guys can see, I got my bolt holes, and I've taken out that other little lock bolt washer thing from the back side. So you're gonna only want to do it for the inner bolts and not the outer bolts. You're gonna want to go ahead and bolt that back up. But like I said, you only loosen these up to take these pieces out. Then you're gonna want to tighten those back up. Make sure that your hole is good and visible and clear. Therefore you know that you got your bumper fascia lined back up. And then you're just going to situate this bracket inside and sit it back over this whole lip. Now you're going to want to put it in these grooves here. That's what those grooves are notched out for, so that the bracket can kind of sit in there and fit, you know, snug over this bumper fascia here. So we'll be right back, and let you guys know if I ran into any issues or not. Also, your kit will come with these little bumper spacers. I don't know if you guys can see that, hopefully you can. But the bumper spacers will go behind this bracket. Now I don't know if y'all can see that I got one back there on both bolts, but that bumper spacer is because of this lip here. This lip bulges out, and so when you have your bracket all the way up against it, there's like a space in there. So these bumper spacers will allow it to basically sit very flush, and so that your bolt don't have to bend that bracket in. So you guys make sure that y'all put 2 for each side, which you get 4 all together, 1 up top, 1 at the bottom. Do the same thing for the passenger side, or vice versa, whichever side you guys are working on first. Alright guys, so we got the 2 brackets installed on the front fascia. And one thing you're not going to want to do is tighten it down all the way, just in case you have to maneuver it around to put your actual push guard and mount it on here. You don't want to really tighten down everything all the way, so you can have a little bit of movement and play in it. And then you can tighten it down after you get your Go Rhino push guard on the front bumper fascia. But let me tell you guys one thing that the instructions does not explain. So it comes with 2 of these brackets that go on the back side of this bracket here. And it also comes with 2 spacers, 1 for each side. So let me put this spacer over there. So this bracket goes on the back side. Now this spacer also goes on the back side of this bracket at the bottom. Now the instructions does not explain that, but guess what, man? Some things are just self-explanatory. And that bracket is to hold it on this whole front fascia here of your bumper guard, so that the bracket doesn't move around and your push guard doesn't move around if you want to push your car around and stuff like that. So it's actually mounted to the chassis of your vehicle. And that's what this whole front fascia right here is for. But yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and mount this bracket up on the back side of here and show you guys what it looked like after the fact with a light up underneath the car, so that you guys can see exactly what to do, because the instructions with Go Rhino definitely does not explain that. This here is that back bracket that I was showing you guys, the one with the spacer in the center there, and then the big bolt, and then there's the bolt right there on top, as you guys can see, and the other bolt isn't in there. But I'm gonna tell you guys, that one bolt will hold. I do have a lock wash on it, and I have it the same on both sides. So I just ran one bolt on the back, and I didn't run two, because then I'm gonna have to start cutting into the car, which is plastic, and I didn't want this fiberglass or plastic or whatever it is to start crumbling and crumbling, and then I have issues with that. So I only ran one bolt that is accessible with the Go Rhino kit on both sides, and that is definitely enough to hold everything, man. This bracket is not going anywhere whatsoever. So we got the bumper back on. Look like we ain't even done nothing, huh, fellas? But guess what though, everything lined up perfectly. I think these holes are a little bit too excessive though. I did cut it out 3 inches like how they said, so you might want to cut it out a little bit smaller than that. There's like a little bit of access on both sides, but you know what, it ain't no big deal. That bumper basically covers all of that stuff, but I mean, it still looks good. These gaps are pretty much identical on both sides, so that's how you know when you got the kit right, or the kit almost centered. As you guys can see, that gap right there, then you guys can see this gap right here, pretty much identical. It's on the outer part of those teeth at the bottom, and these jokers are pretty much centered where I cut it to begin with. So it's pretty much what the kit says. And we're gonna go ahead and put the push bumper on here, and I'll let you guys know what hardware y'all need to use to put the push guard on there. So here's the final product. Got everything bolted back on, man. Like, it really wasn't that bad once I figured out what was going on. So if anybody need help, comments, questions, or concerns, man, when they buy this bumper, then I can definitely help them out. But it definitely wasn't that bad. You just gotta follow the instructions, but at the same time, all of it doesn't tell you exactly what to do, you know, by putting the push bar on. But man, she is centered. And I even looked at how it's centered, so you can see right there, I'm looking at that little bit of honeycomb on the grill, and then I move like right there, and then I'm looking at this side right here, and I look at that little bit of honeycomb on the grill, and I can just see it right there being lined up. So yeah, man, the grill is lined up. My Go Rhino symbol is out of place, so it needs to be centered. As you guys see, it ain't even centered with the stripes, and I know that my stripes are centered. So I'm gonna move that sticker a little bit to the side. If not, I'll just go get another sticker made. But yeah, man, I'm so far pleased about how it turned out, man. She's very sturdy, very sturdy. The bolts, as you guys can see, I put these little plate bolts. I put one on each side. I couldn't get the other one in there. For some reason, that bolt hole doesn't really line up, so I go and get some smaller bolts and put up in there. But yeah, I used the plate bolts that came up in the kit for the bumper, so that it doesn't turn or anything just as soon as I'm ratcheting it down, and it'll stay seated. So yeah, man, y'all stay tuned, man. There's a lot more content to come. I greatly appreciate y'all rocking with me for this video. So y'all stay tuned for the next one with the doors up and with the grill on, baby. Peace!